Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I am here all barefaced because I am doing a foundation testing video, and today I'm going to be testing out this, which is the Hourglass Vanish Stick foundation. If you watched some of my foundation testing videos before, you may already know this, but I am getting married next year and I am on a bit of a mission to find the perfect foundation for my wedding. And as I'm buying all these foundations to try out, I thought I may as well make videos out of all of the ones I'm testing. This is the most expensive foundation I have ever bought. I got this from Liberties of London, which is in London. I wanted to buy it in person just so I could see the colour. As I was spending that amount of money on a foundation, I wanted to know it would be the right colour. But they are available online in the UK from John Lewis. I think you can order it off the Liberties of London website, and Space NK do them as well. So as far as I'm aware, if you want to buy it in person in the UK, you can only get it from London, I think. If anyone in the UK knows where else you may be able to get these, then leave me a comment down below, because yeah, apart from London, I couldn't find them anywhere apart from online. So if you'd like to see what I think of this foundation, just keep on watching. So I have zoomed in a bit, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing, and my skin is already primed. I have the Benefit Professional in my T-zone and the Becca First Light priming filter on the rest of my face. So I have the Hourglass website up on my phone here just so I can tell you what their claims are for the foundation, and so we can see if their claims match up to how the product actually performs. So it says this is a revolutionary foundation stick with the coverage of a concealer, the fluidity of a liquid and the weightlessness of a powder in a long-wearing waterproof formula for undetectable full coverage. The unprecedented concentration of pigment in this foundation provides maximum coverage with minimum product, concealing all discoloration and imperfections for flawless skin with a seamless finish. So I think basically what they're saying is it's going to cover up all my problems, but it's not going to give me cake face, which is nice, especially for bridal makeup, because obviously you want to look as flawless as possible but without having a full-on cake face. So let's have a look at the product. It comes in a stick, obviously, and it's just a little triangle shape, and it twists up. The packaging is really gorgeous. I mean, you can tell it's high-end. It's very luxurious. So I'm just going to apply this directly onto my face. I've not used this before, this is a first impression, so I don't really know what to expect, but I'm hoping a little bit of this goes a long way because it's quite a lot of money. As it's first going on, it does feel very soft and like it's going to blend nicely. So I'm going to use my Morphe G6 to buff this in because that's what I always use. To be honest, I've never used a stick foundation before, so I don't know how it's going to work with this brush, but we'll find out. So I'm definitely going to need some more product. It does look pretty much, it looks very natural and it's kind of evened my skin out a little bit, but it's definitely not giving me the coverage that I personally look for. You can see a lot of my redness still, so I am going to try and build it up a little bit and put another coat of foundation on. Or another layer, whatever you want to call it. Especially in the areas on my cheeks where I have rosacea. So that is the product applied to my face. It definitely isn't the most full coverage foundation I've ever used, but for the amount of coverage I've got, it's definitely one of the most natural looking foundations I have used. It took quite a bit of building up on the cheeks to get kind of the coverage that I'd look for, although I do normally use a colour corrector and I didn't today. So possibly if I had used my colour corrector, it may not have taken so much to build the product up. The product does look very nice on the skin. It's not really sunk into any pores. The only kind of little fault I can pick at it is it has clung to a little dry patch here. I'm not sure if it's going to pick up on camera. You can see it in person, but it's nothing major. On the whole, I'd say my skin looks pretty good at the moment. So what I'm going to do is do the rest of my makeup off camera, and then I'm going to come back and just give you a bit of an overview and tell you how it reacted with all my other makeup products. So that is the rest of my makeup on. Overall, I'm pretty pleased with how my skin looks. Other products applied over the foundation nicely, they all blended well. The only thing I will say is I think possibly the powder I used was a bit too matte. I feel like it's kind of dulled down the nice natural finish of the foundation, so I obviously need to do a bit more experimenting with what powders and primers etc. to use with this foundation, but so far so good. I did add a bit of concealer on my cheeks where my rosacea is because it wasn't quite giving me the coverage that I wanted, but overall so far I think this is a really nice foundation. It's really natural looking, has a decent level of coverage, but it's pretty undetectable on the skin. It really does not look like I have layers of foundation on, which is nice and the kind of thing I am looking for in a foundation for my wedding. So I'm going to wear this makeup throughout the day. I'm not going to touch it up, and I'm going to try and check back in a couple of times with you to see how the foundation wears throughout the day. Hourglass did claim this was a long wearing foundation, so I have high hopes, and obviously that is something that is very important for my wedding day. So it's currently 1 o'clock. I'm not sure what I'm doing today, but I will try and check back in a few hours to see how my makeup is faring. Hello, I am back. It is now about 4 o'clock, so I've had this makeup on for about 3 hours, and I'd say it's still looking fairly good. It's pretty hot today as far as British weather goes anyway, so this has had a pretty tough day for me to test this out, as I've been a little bit sweaty, I'm not gonna lie. On the whole, it still looks pretty good. I've got a little bit of oil breakthrough on my nose, but other than that, I think everything's still kind of intact. Maybe a little bit of oil coming through on my chin, but those are always the places that I generally touch up throughout the day anyway, so that's not a huge issue to me. I think where the oil is coming through, it's not looking terrible. I'm just looking a little bit more glowy than what I did to begin with, but it is kind of a nice looking glowy, not just a greasy kind of glow, if you understand what I mean. So I think at the moment it's wearing pretty well. I'm out for some food in a little while, so I will come back after that and check in again just to let you know how the makeup fares after a few more hours. Hello everyone, I'm back again. I have just been out for a nice meal, and it's almost 8 o'clock now. I would say my foundation is still looking pretty good, so I think the long wearing claim that it made is definitely true. I don't think it's changed a whole lot since I last checked in. I've still just got a bit of oil coming through on my nose, maybe a little bit more than last time I checked in, and a little bit on my chin. But other than that, everything is still looking fairly in place, so I am fairly pleased with how this is going. So I think this is the last check-in I'm going to do today, so let's just zoom you back out a little bit and I will go through my final thoughts of this foundation. So overall I am pretty pleased with this foundation, and I think it gets a thumbs up from me. I think it has worn very nicely, especially considering that it was quite a hot day today, so I've probably been sweating more than I normally would, and apart from a little bit on my nose and a little bit on my chin, which is kind of standard for wearing a foundation for 8 hours, the foundation hasn't really moved or separated at all. I did have that one tiny little dry patch that it clung to, but I think I could probably combat that using a different primer maybe. I think I will need to use a different powder with this foundation. I just didn't like how my powder sat with it. It made it look a bit too matte, and I really liked kind of the natural glow that this foundation gave, so I think I'm gonna have to try and find a different powder, maybe one of the Hourglass ambient lighting ones, because they're meant to be lovely. Expensive, but maybe if it's for my wedding then I can justify it. So yes, overall I think if you don't mind paying a bit more money for a foundation, this is definitely one to try. I enjoy the coverage, it wears really nicely, but it's still very natural looking and very comfortable to wear. I don't feel like I've got really thick makeup on my face, and I don't look like it either, so it's kind of natural coverage. It's not the most full coverage foundation I've ever used, but it's certainly still got a decent amount of coverage and a really nice finish. So this is definitely a contender, I think, for being my wedding foundation. It's probably the one I've liked the most that I've tried so far, which I'm glad about, as it cost me £42, so it's the most expensive one I've tried so far as well. So I think that is it. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to leave me a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts if you've tried this foundation, or let me know what your favourite foundations are. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and maybe even subscribe if you'd like to see what else I have coming up. I also have a giveaway running at the moment until the 2nd of September. So I'll leave that linked in the description box, so don't forget to go and enter that. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!